Detained twice, Sakharov Prize laureate Guillermo Fariñas Hernández, before and during the anniversary of July 11th in Santa Clara, Cuba. Guillermo Fariñas Hernández, known as Coco Fariñas, a prominent dissident and human rights defender, awarded by the European Parliament the Sakharov Prize for Freedom of Thought in 2010, has been arbitrarily detained twice by Cuban state security, in the days before and during the very anniversary of the July 11th protests, in a clear attempt to silence him and to prevent any public expression on that date. According to his own testimony, given after his release, the first arrest took place on the eve of July 11th. On July 10th, 2026, at exactly 11:50 a.m., he was arrested in front of his home and taken to the UPICO unit in Villa Clara, from which he was released at 9:05 a.m., again in front of his house. The second arrest occurred on July 11th itself. On July 11th, 2026, at 4:25 in the morning, he was detained once again inside his own home. The repressive agents claimed that stones and bottles were being thrown at the 5th Unit of the National Revolutionary Police in Santa Clara, located about 8 blocks from his house. On this occasion, he was taken to the Provincial Unit for Criminal Investigation of State Security, where he was held in an office. He was released in front of his home at 1:15 in the morning on July 12, 2026. Fariñas further denounces that his neighborhood has been cut off with no internet access since July 10, 2026, in an apparent attempt by the authorities to prevent word of what happened from spreading. These repeated detentions, before and during July 11th, without charges or any legal process, are yet another example of the pattern of arbitrary arrests, harassment, and communications blackout that the Cuban regime employs against peaceful dissidents on sensitive dates. The Cuban Observatory for Human Rights reminds the European Parliament and the European Union of their commitment to human rights, as well as their duty toward all victims of persecution and abuse, especially toward those who have been honored by the institution. Guillermo Fariñas Hernández is one of its laureates of the Sakharov Prize for Freedom of Thought, the highest distinction the European Union grants in defense of human rights. We call on the European institutions to firmly condemn this action, to speak out publicly in defense of their laureates in Cuba, systematic victims of persecution, surveillance, and harassment, and to demand that the Cuban authorities respect his freedom, his integrity, and his fundamental rights. From the observatory, we demand the immediate end of the harassment against Guillermo Fariñas Hernández and his family, and the restoration of internet access, a right recognized by the United Nations Human Rights Council.